Welcome everyone to the Minsan Football Show presented by Upstream Sports TV. I'm Caro Manzano, your host for today, or for tonight, I will say. Let's start, of course, from the farther end. There's Diego Cordero, and then we've got Natasha Alquiros, and then, of course, we've got Jing Hamlang, everyone. So, ano ba itong Minsan Football Show? It's about professional football, of course, what's been going on. We're gonna have this every Wednesday, and can't wait to get started. It's our pilot episode. And yeah, we're gonna dissect what went on in the last season, right? That's going to be like, you could say our foundation. What's gonna go on, basis for predictions and stuff. But before that, we're asking, I got permission to say this. Who the heck are we, right? So we're gonna, I did introduce you guys already, of course, but we're going to be, well, some of us will be covering the PFL season. Yeah, there's Natasha, there's Jing, Diego, myself, also Claro. So I got too excited to introduce you guys already. My bad. But let's jumpstart this, of course. Let's talk about the recent or the previous PFL season. That was the 2024 to 2025 season, not the 2024 one, right? So just to clarify. So champions last year, Kaya FC Iloilo. So they pretty much put things, or just shunned haters, doubters, and they qualified to the AFC Champions League 2 by winning it all. They did face some stiff opposition, but Diego, anything you want to say about, yeah, Kaya just winning it all?
Yeah, well, Kaya are on a three-peat following that season, and they really deserved it last season, but it went down to the final day. So it was a very close title race. They only lost, I believe, 2 games, and despite that, they faced really tough competitions. But they won the league like they did the past 3 years with a total of, I believe, 40 points. And yeah, we see the highlights there. They were one of the fiercest attacks in the league, but they didn't actually score the most goals. Nevertheless, they kept things tight at the back, and yeah, they deserved their direct qualification into the AFC Champions League 2 after a dominant campaign overall. So that was Kaya. Yeah, the team probably with right now the biggest targets on their back.
Natasha, do you think no surprise? Kaya came away as champs despite of the challenges? Yeah.
I think just being one of the more veteran teams and the more consistent in a sense that they've already been part of the PFL. But the thing about last season, I think that makes it so different from the more recent ones, 2020, 21, 22, was that the the race to the top was so close. It was only a 1 point difference between them and Manila Digger. So this time around, you could feel that it's not anymore a sure win for anyone. Like maybe 2 seasons ago, it really felt like Kaya already ran away with more points than the other teams. There was a gap. But the most recent season, you really felt that Manila Diggers were just running up their throats. Cebu was there as well, and then you also have the usual suspects like Stallion. Taguig was also pretty much there as well. So you could say that the competition, the top 6, the top 7, it's pretty close. And there was one time or another that they would end up in draws or loss. There was no sure win.
Mm-hmm. Last but not the least, Jing did that intentionally because you know what it's like to be inside that well-oiled Kaya machine given your previous experience, yeah.
Yeah, your question was it a surprise that they won? And it wasn't. What the surprise was what Natasha alluded to, was how tight the race was, right? And I think for fans, that's going to be the thing to be most excited about looking ahead to the next season, is that this is going to be a tight competition. And I think when you see teams like Manila Digger make up the ground that they've had in such a short span of time, it's it's a warning shot to a team like Kaya that's been at the Champions League level for quite some time. That these are teams that are ready, despite younger squads or newer players, that they're ready to compete at this level, and they want to be pushing for that continental stage as well, right? So I think Kaya's got a great challenge on their hands because this is a squad that's been together for quite some time. But as Diego mentioned, it's a three-peat. They've already won 3 times. How do you keep motivating a squad to renew yourself and to get yourself ready for the challenges at hand, right? Well, I think they have a great test here with this challenge of these new teams. And like Natasha was saying, it's going to be a very tight league. So that means, if you're talking about the top 6, top 7, you're talking about almost every week you're going to have a good challenge on your hands, right? So, I mean, for fans, this is what you've been hoping for quite some time, where that disparity disappears, and every week there's kind of like, you're not entirely sure who's going to win, right? So the games are going to be hotly contested, and they're going to be fun watching, I think.
It's hard to get to the top, but they've been there for quite some time. It's even more difficult, and with the stellar season, of course, of Kaya last time around, we are going to look through the games, of course, where not just their fans could support, but also the Philippine football fans. Tampines Rovers of Singapore and Kaya FC will be squaring off on September 18 to kick off AFC Champions League 2 action. There's also that game on October 23 versus BG Pathum United of Thailand and Pohang Steelers of Korea on December 11 at 8:15. These games are going to be at the New Clark City Athletic Stadium in Clark, Pampanga. So there's away games too, don't you forget. There's that away fixture versus Pohang Steelers on October 2. And that will be a tough away match, we could say. They'll be traveling to Korea, and then they'll have their away fixture, BD Pathum, in Thailand also. Another tough one. And last but not the least, there's also that trip to Singapore versus Tampines Rovers. That will be on November 27. So do take note again, the home games, you could catch them at the New Clark City Athletic Stadium. Always a treat to watch games actually in that stadium, come to think of it. But as we will carry on, another standout group last season, Manila Digger FC. They came in second and they almost made it to the ACL2. And they did fall, unfortunately, to Persib Bandung. It's a heartbreaker, come to think of it. But with that loss, I don't see they were relegated because it's still that silver lining. They were guaranteed that they'd be playing in the AFC Challenge League. It's only now, Jing, we'll be seeing a Filipino team take part there.
Yeah. It's for the first time. And Manila Digger, the crazy thing about them is how many seasons have they been around? This is their 3rd season coming up?
It's only going to be their 3rd PFL season.
Right? I mean, yeah. It's crazy the leaps that they've made in such a short period of time, right? So they've had a vision about how they're going to attack the league and how to be competitive immediately. Because there have been teams that have been talking about progress and, trust the process for 5 years, 4 years, whatever it is, and you don't see that progression. But Manila Digger, they're making steps, they're making moves, and they've cut to the front of the line, so to speak, right? And you have to look at them and be excited and look and try to figure out what are they doing that's making them so competitive so quickly, right? So now the question is this year, what next step is in store for us, right? Because we saw them against Persib Bandung, and Persib is a proper team. and they look competitive against them, you know. So it's exciting to see what they're gonna do in the Conference League and what they're gonna bring to the PFL table. I mean, so definitely gonna be a team to keep a close eye on, Manila Digger FC.
I just have to say it already and get it out of the way. I like to call their guys the superheroes. So that's how they cut the line. Natasha, yeah, Manila Digger doing great things.
And the thing is, I think that one of the things that they're so good at is scouting, because they don't have a deep squad. They don't have 20. They don't have like 30 players on their roster. They have a small squad, but they're so good at being able to scouting, getting players, foreign players, but at the same time choosing the right local players to complete their lineup. This year, though, they did lose a couple of players, but they were quickly able to pick up a few new local guys that have seamlessly, it feels like seamlessly fit into their system. And I think that's what makes them exciting. As you said, Jing, they've only been around for 3 years and they've already accomplished so much. And the fact that they've already had a game against Perceived, so they already have this somewhat advantage coming into the new season because they've already have a game underhand. So you know that first game jitters or of trying to connect with a new squad, they kind of already have it figured out. So they're one step ahead of the other teams.
And with Manila Digger, Jago, I'm sure you've been keeping a close eye on them also last season following.
Yeah, for sure, that team was a lot of people's surprise package. Not really expected to push Kaya all the way to the final day, and they only missed out by a point. And I was very impressed really last season by Cisse, the league's top goal scorer. And overall, their base of foreign players, particularly players from the Gambia, is very strong, very athletic, very physical, and they've done a very good job to maintain and retain that squad. We saw in their game against Perceived that even though it was a 2-1 loss at a very hostile stadium, they really had chances. And on another day, with a little bit more luck, they probably win that match. And as Natasha said, going into this season, they have a very smart way of acquiring players. So, for example, they lost a couple players and then they make a couple of smart signings. So, Christian Schaffner, Clarino, it's how they're maintaining that squad. And yeah, for this season, I don't think there'll be anyone's surprise package anymore. And if they do push Kaya or anyone else to the final day, I don't think any of us would be surprised anymore, given how they did it last season in a very, very aggressive manner. But I mean, I'm all here for it. I'm all here for it. A team that's barely 3 years old and they're pushing for the title already. It's exciting.
Could I just add
Yeah,
something?
yeah, of course.
They scored the most goals, conceded the least amount of goals last season. So, I mean, that says something,
Firepower.
right? I mean, they're coming to entertain, right? And they're solid at the back. So they're difficult to beat. They score a lot of goals. They're exciting. Definitely Manila Digger is going to be the contender to look for in this season.
Jago mentioned the name of my friend, Sea-Dog Schaffner, so he lost his man bun. So that's Iron Man without his score, but he's joining the superheroes. I don't know. Let's see how they're going to do it, of course, with Manila Digger. I had to get that out of the way already. But yeah, with Manila Digger, we can carry on to the different teams. Up next, there's Cebu, of course. Winners of the final series, you could say, some people could say it's an upset because they were the lowest ranked team in the final series. It was a bit of an up and down season for them, but because they won the final series, they did get that qualifying playoff slot in the ASEAN Championship, the Shopee Cup. Jeng, were you surprised that they did get that Shopee Cup spot?
Well, anything can happen in Philippine football, so I'm happy for them. From an outside perspective, I like the representation of the different teams in the different continental competitions, and they showed in the preliminary round that they deserve to be in that competition, and they did well against the side from Brunei. So, Cebu's a team that over the years I've really enjoyed watching them make matches into battles. Right? They're a team that likes to fight, and in every match like that, I can't help but root for teams like that. I always like that kind of profile, battling midfielders like Daniel Gadia. I'm a fan of that. I like people who like to get under your skin and to make this match less of a technical exhibition and more of like, dude, are you ready to dig in today? If you're not ready to fight, then it's gonna be a problem. And that's what Cebu is about, and they make you have to fight and earn your points. And for me, it's always fun. to see a game like that. So I love watching Cebu. I love watching them compete, and to make every game into that physical contest that I enjoy about football.
They deceive you with that Gentle Giants moniker.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, Natasha.
Yes, the Gentle Giant sport. I mean, I love the moniker in itself. Because they're able to really put the Cebu aspect in it. And the thing that really is great about that Cebu team is that of all the places where the PFL has been held, they have the best environment. They bring the best vibe, the most hostile vibes. Like, I love watching in Cebu because you can feel the energy of the fans. Like, they don't have a big stadium, but when the games are there, you know that they have the advantage, and you can feel that's what you want to roll off of, the energy of the fans, and they bring that. They're able to bring that every time that they do have a home game.
And we meant that in a good way with this questioning the Gentle Giants thing, of course, right? And then you have a guy like Papu Korsame, he's the captain now, by the way.
Nice.
Because Barish Tassi is not active for this season until now, still due to injury, speedy recovery. So yeah, you got a guy like Papu Korsame who's got a dog in him.
Oof.
Yeah, so Jago with Cebu, what do you have to say about this crew?
Yeah, well, like Manila Digger, another very young team in terms of how long they've actually been in the PFL. But let's not forget that I think a couple seasons ago and the season before that as well, that they also pushed Kaya all the way, or not really all the way, but they were there for a very long time. And for a team that has been flirting with the title race, I think this season they'll be really wanting to say that they're going to be in that title race until the very end and maybe even clinch it, despite the fact that, like Manila Digger, they're a very young team. And of course, as you said, Clara, they did qualify into the Shopee Cup. So it's a team with a lot to play for this season, not just in the PFL, but they want to prove themselves also internationally. And what that just means is they might just be a little bit more eager to say that, hey, we are going to be one of Philippine football's giant teams. And again, given their moniker as the Gentle Giants. So yeah, very exciting team to follow as a neutral and most especially as a fan, because you do see when they play in their stadium, I think their record there is incredible. The hostility for away teams is also very noticeable, even if you're just watching through a screen. So yeah, very interesting to follow Cebu this season, and I think really that it's time they push for PFL title. Given that
Can I add as well?
Yeah,
also,
go ahead.
Just how they set up their squad in a sense of the facilities that they have. So since they do own their training facility,
yeah.
so it's easy for them to train on their schedule when they want to. For the Manila-based teams, of course, one of the biggest problems is always the field bookings.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's only so many, but for Cebu, the good thing about how they're set up is that it feels like it's set up for a long-term thing, wherein you have your own facility. If I'm not mistaken, they've already built the gym there. I haven't been in the.
It's right there.
It's there,
It's
right?
right there.
So
Even therapy.
They have
Yeah.
a coffee shop as well. They have their merch store. So when you enter there, you really truly feel this Cebu home feeling, and it's so good for the team, for the players to be in that environment constantly. That you have a locker room, you have all the facilities needed for you. You need your PT treatment, it's right there. You need to go to do some gym work before training, after training, it's right there. Everything that you need is all in one spot. So I just admire and I applaud them, of course, for how they have set up their training facility leading up to being part of the Men's Football League.
Yeah, shout out Mr. Tassi and his family, of course, yeah. And the thing with Cebu, let's remember, they are the only team right now based outside of Luzon. So they really fly in, they fly out.
Yeah.
for
I'm not
their
sure about
yeah. Well, anyway, given their performance, of course, we're going to support Cebu FC because they're taking part in the ASEAN Club Championship. And with our games, they've actually started. So they did have that heartbreaking loss versus Tampines Rovers of Singapore. But on September 24, at about 8:30 p.m. Philippine time, they will play against Công An Hanoi of Vietnam. That will be an away game. That's going to be a tough one again, given Vietnam. They're one of the big guns in the ASEAN region. And then there's going to be a difficult one again, sorry, I'm at a loss for words here. They're playing against BG Pathum, right, in Thailand also. That's going to be a heavy one. That's Jan 28. That will be next year. So it's a single round robin, actually, in the Shopee Cup, but they're going to take turns hosting that one. Feb 4, there's that game against Buriram. So They're actually in the group with the defending champs, top two teams actually, to be precise. Cebu will actually have one more home game against Selangor FC in about December. That should be at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. Let's stay tuned for updates, of course. Now, let's talk about the rest of the teams, because if we don't mention them, they're gonna go after us one by one. We talked about this pre-prod, right? So, in no particular order, of course, we can carry on. There is Taguig FC. I'd like to think they're a little bit quiet in the off-season, but we're just waiting for that boom or explosion with announcements left and right. That's what I would like to think, Jane.
Yeah. We are all hungry for announcements and a little bit more clarity, but I'm hearing rumblings of a very familiar coach who's going to be in charge of Taguig, and that makes me very excited, because this is an individual who is familiar with the top players of the Philippine game, and to have somebody like that at the helm, with familiar faces and familiar names, it's going to be interesting to see where Taguig goes. They shot for the stars and didn't quite end up where they wanted, but I like a team with ambition. What I would just like to caution, certain clubs that are ambitious is that, I want to see personally stability in the league, right? So I want teams to be here, not just for this season, but 5 years down the road, right? And this is what I really want and foresee for the league, is that if we can keep this lineup together, these teams that we're going to be talking about in a little bit, in 5 years' time, it's going to be a very exciting league, and it's going to be a product that everybody will be very excited about for years to come, right? And Taguig, for me, it's a team that it's extremely marketable because of the faces that are attached to it, right? They're going to need to back it up on the pitch, though, because a lot of these other teams that we already talked about, they have jumped the queue, so to speak, right? And there was a lot of hype around Taguig, and I think some of that still exists for this next season, because there's a lot of question marks. And there's a lot of potential there, but it's just a matter of being able to fulfill what they look like on paper.
So we can't wait for those floodgates to open, right? With all the info now, and you're gonna see the wow reactions on the Facebook announcements. Natasha, you mentioned this earlier. Taguig Derby, right? Taguig, Maharlika Taguig,
So that's going to be exciting, and Jane was spot on about the description of it was like, I have nothing to add. Like, you took all the words like right out of my mouth. Like, that's exactly like how I feel about them. And well, the good thing though, in a sense of that, where everyone is already like spilling, who our new signings are, everything. They've kept everything hush hush. So it still adds an element of surprise or of excitement. If you're trying to spin it in a positive way, then they still add that element of like, I'm so curious about them. You're always trying to check, when are they gonna post next? It's been months since they've posted anything. But you know that once they do, once they get it all rolling, then you're all in. Like, you're so excited to hear about them. But yeah, like Jane said, I honestly believe that they're also one of the most marketable teams. They have the big players, in a sense, that who also have big followings, who have been in the game for long periods of time. And so, yeah, it's all about bringing it on the pitch as well.
We were talking about like having that dog in you, right? I think they still have Daisuke Sato with them, so he's gonna be a big cornerstone for them. Yeah, I know. I've noticed everyone hates going up against Daisuke Sato for good reasons.
I think, but also one of the things I'm interested in is to figure out who they have to replace their goalkeeper. Like, Quincy left.
He's in Malaysia,
Arnel Amita.
Jump ship to UMAK, Aguilas-UMAK.
So that's your captain.
Those are some big goals.
That's your captain. So it kind of, you want to find out, so Taguig, come on, keep us updated.
I think Junior Sam also is not with them anymore. I think he went abroad, Diego.
Yeah, I think I heard that as well. And
right? Yeah.
with Taguig, for now it's a lot of just online rumors, but I'm sure in the next few days we'll see some confirmations around the internet. One thing I do have to say about Taguig is they did finish third last season. That's higher than Cebu. So a couple games off, and maybe they get a bit more lucky in one game, and they get into the Shopee Cup, for example. So it was they might see it as an unsuccessful season last season, but they could have very easily, just a couple games off, had a very successful season had they qualified into the Shopee Cup. And I'm sure they'll be looking to finish into the top 4 again this season. Again, as you mentioned, they've retained Daisuke Sato. They're gonna get what we're hearing is they're gonna get a new coach, a very high-profile coach.
Check nyo
according
na
to
lang
rumors.
online sino.
But when you
Yeah.
think about One Taguig also is that, actually when you mention it, like let's say compare One Taguig to when Manila Digger came in. When Manila Digger came in the league, you had no expectations for them. You know, you're feeling them out. But when One Taguig came in, you're like, they could win this. So that's the thing. Like you expect a lot, though they are still also technically a new club. They've been in the league for how many years?
It's gonna be their
Third, right?
third season also.
So
Third
just
season
their
also,
third.
like Manila Digger.
But we expect already so much from them. So that says a lot already by how they're able to market themselves as a big gun from the get-go.
So we pretty much like just zoomed in on the top 4 teams there pretty much, right? But when we'll carry on, we can go with Stallion Laguna FC. They only have 1 member left of their Incredibles roster, which is Juan Galeana Trujillo, A. Placito gone, Finn McDaniel gone. Let's take it with you, Natasha. You played for their women's team and have the women's team qualified.
Straight to the source.
Let's
women's
just say
Champions
that
League.
in the women's team, though, you know,
Yeah, but
they're champions. That's what I'm gonna say about that.
but what do you know here with this Stallion
Well, okay,
roster?
so-
I hear a goalkeeper too, replacing Roberto Llamas.
So the thing with Stallion is that they're such a firecracker. You'll never know what you're gonna get. And it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time because the consistency, that's the part that's not there because every year, the most recent years recently, they always change most of their players, most of their foreigners. They usually change their lineup easily. But when they're good, they're good. So it's like all the teams in the top also, they don't know what to expect from Stallion. There are times that they show up and they play their big games and you know that they're a title contender. And then they have some games where they just bottle it somewhere in the middle. So they always start strong, then they somehow bottle their chances in the middle. So what you'd hope for them in this coming season is more consistency. Despite the fact that they're starting again from scratch, I mean, like building a new team. But maybe that's also good because they'll come into the season fresh, let go of like all the old players and their old styles of play. So I hope for them, of course, to finish higher up the league or in the top 3. But again, it's all gonna depend on them. They like to play players off position a lot and they like to make these gambles. So far, I mean, based on results, let's base it on results, the gambles haven't always paid off. So let's hope that for this season, that the gambles that they do make in the game do pay off.
All up to them. Ball on their side of the pitch. But if we carry on with Aguilas-UMAK FC, Jing, what are your impressions? Rebranded squad, rebranded new management,
Yeah.
pretty much a new squad.
You know what's exciting about Aguilas is that they're being run by young people.
Yeah.
And who've got new ideas and new ways of approaching how to find success in this landscape, right? And they've seen teams like Manila Digger jump the queue, and Davao has, in their own way, overachieved over the last couple of seasons. And now we're seeing, they're gonna bring in a new coach. They've recruited very smartly in places where not a lot of people have been recruiting in the Philippines, So they're looking at younger talent. They're trying to create a platform where they can move these players on, I guess, to bigger platforms down the road, right? But they're giving them an opportunity to shine here in the Philippines. Also, one of these teams that actually has a designated spot to train at in UMAC and gives them an opportunity to have a little bit more of stability in the way they prepare. But it's a huge question mark, with Aguilas right now. But I'm excited because they've recruited, in my opinion, very frugally. They've kept their budget small, but they've recruited smartly. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is the small man, big player, Arnel Amita. He's gone under the radar in this transfer market. People have not really been blowing him up and talking about that transfer, but I think it's a big deal. I'm a big fan of Nano. I think he's a great player. He's a type of player that he takes a lot of risks, but man, on his day, he's just so difficult to stop. So, so entertaining to watch, and just that flair player that you know, anything can happen when he's on the ball. So for me, Nano Amita to Aguilas is a big signal of intent from that crew. So I'm very excited about it.
Nano's gonna captain Aguilas actually.
Yeah.
This upcoming season.
There you go.
Let's get
But I was
with,
going to say,
yeah,
I'll just
go
add
ahead.
as well that, you know, when you talked about Aguilas-UMAK and having that facility, same thing with Stallion, having Binyan.
Yes.
And then same thing with Cebu having their own. So I think that in terms of preparing for every season, like these three teams have that advantage. And it's just being able to really capitalize on that advantage.
Yeah, because with what you said with UMAC for Stallion, it's they don't really own the stadium.
Yeah.
But it's like that's their go.
But that-
you know
that
what I'm
is,
saying?
yeah.
It's like their hub already for football operations. Let's get on with Maharlika. Yeah, Diego. I'm sure you've been monitoring them. They've been active in social media, announcing things. Like konting chismis din, who goes here,
Yeah.
who's going there. Yeah.
I've actually been watching their new coach, who actually has a YouTube channel, so it's very transparent on what's been going on recently in preseason.
Sorry, they put a game up on his YouTube
Yeah,
channel. Is that
so-
right?
Yeah.
I believe they played against Manila Digger in
Yeah.
preseason, and they lost 2-1, which is actually not bad of a result for preseason, considering you're going up against a team that is qualified internationally. But for Maharlika, it's a rebranded squad, a lot of signings from PFL experienced players. We'll let them announce those in due time. But I think what we're going to see with Maharlika FC is they're going to want to, I think I saw this actually in one of the videos of that new Korean coach. Their aim is a top 4 finish. They vividly said that. So they're going to want to prove themselves after past seasons. Last season, they finished 7th, and they want to go up to the top 4. They're going to want to prove themselves right away. New players, new system, new style of play. Their new coach is really emphasizing that they should be playing a more positive way of football, more possession-based. So it's going to be a new look Maharlika team with quite a few signings of players who are actually familiar to the PFL, but we'll just let them make those announcements in due time. So yeah, a bit of a wild card this season.
Some even
Maharlika
say
FC.
dark horse, right? Maharlika
Yeah.
may be the dark horse this season to just maybe cause upsets here and there,
Yeah.
make a good push. Deep in the season. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, again, we'll let them make those announcements, but what we're seeing online is that a couple of positions have been reinforced very strongly by this new management of Maharlika. And like I said, their coach on YouTube is really transparent about the fact that he wants to cause upsets. He wants to cause a shakeup. He wants the league to be like, oh, we did not expect this from a team who finished 7th last season, with all due respect. So yeah, that's their aim this season, to cause a little bit of upsets now and then, to maybe just deviate from the usual script that we're used to seeing in the PFL. So definitely an exciting team to follow this season.
It's nice. It's refreshing to see Maharlika, you know, have bigger ambitions, because before, you know, they were very much attached to that profile of just being, oh, we're happy to be here. You know, we're giving our players an opportunity
The
to
young
to
guns.
play
Yeah.
on this platform. Now they want to compete, and this is what we want, right? You want every team to be a competitor and to guarantee that, you know, it's all to at least say that no games are guarantees, right? You have to fight and you have to compete, and Maharlika is going to be a team that is hopefully going to be more competitive this season.
They continue to have a Korean coach also, I'd just like to point out. Yeah.
And I think the reason why is that it all started halfway last season, where they did a revamp.
Yeah.
Right.
And they got really good results. They made a couple of upsets towards the second leg of the season. And so coming into the season, though they will have a lot of new players, but you're now seeing this rebranded Maharlika. So you already have, as you mentioned, it's like you already have the glimpse of feeling like, yeah, that they could be the dark horse of the season, that they could just creep their way up to the top.
Well, carrying on, of course, we just wrapped up Maharlika FC, Valenzuela PB Mendiola, as
You know.
they showed online, right? Last season was a season to forget, we could say. And then what more, you could say their main man in Hamed did announce that he departed the team.
Right.
So Jeng, what's there for Mendiola, right? They just lost their main man.
Well, you know, Mendiola is one of those teams that's been around for a long time, right? And you love their commitment to the league. but you look at them and you wonder like, where is the progress happening at this point? And when this recent announcement with the Valenzuela PB, Pure Blends, I believe is the sponsor that they brought in, it gives me a little bit of excitement and hope, because this means that there's funding that's coming in, there's support that's coming into this team, and that's what they need. You know, they need to be able to expand themselves a little bit and provide players more of an incentive to want to be a part of this program, right? And they have to try to figure out, you know, what steps we need to take in order to be amongst the likes of Manila Digger, Maharlika, Aguilas, who have progressed a little bit more rapidly than them, right? So, you know, it's a real opportunity for them to look in the mirror and see ano ba talagang gusto natin, right? I mean, are we here to make up the numbers, or are we here to put on an actual run in this competition and to give people of Valenzuela something to be happy about, right? I mean, hopefully that brings a little bit of need to showcase yourself, right? That accountability to the folks who are now supporting your club. So I'm excited to see what's in store for Mendiola this season.
Cue the song Man in the Mirror. All right. Got me. Okay, let's get with Philippine Army FC, a returning team to the PFL, Natasha. Good old physical football. When we talk about Army, let's say, military teams in general, yeah.
When you think about them, I guess what they bring is that, as you said, they'll bring that physicality aspect to the game. And so I think that, like with other teams, that they're more on the technical side. I'd say that Army would be bringing more on that physical side, bringing on those tough challenges. And it's going to be exciting also for them, like to come back again to the big league. You have anything to add?
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of old-time PFL fans will be happy to see an Army team back. Quite a historic history in the PFL. And yeah, as you said, fun to watch because of how aggressive, physical they make the games. Yeah, it's a staple really of the PFL that we have a Philippine Army team here. So yeah.
Ano gusto ko makita yung mga fans ng Philippine Army.
Yeah.
Makita sila, because they make an environment in
Fantastic.
watching. No, they really do. You know, they bring the families come and they support the players, and it's fun. You know, they get pretty rowdy in the stands. So ako, gusto ko dati pag may mga laro yung mga armed forces in particular. So hopefully they bring that environment to the games.
Walang Air Force this season, but when it was Air Force Army in the 2024 season, I called that game. Ooh, I think it was personal, those games. Yeah, the passion, of course, there, the armed forces community. But let's get with Tuloy FC, another returning team, Diego, a technical team, if we go on the other side.
Yeah, actually a team that had a handful of players still in the PFL last season, but with the PFF youth national team. Now they're back again with Tuloy, and Tuloy is a little bit of a fan favorite, let's say, because of the way perhaps they conduct themselves on the pitch. They're very possession-based, try to play positive passes through the lines. And yeah, they've caught a lot of love from the Philippine football fan community because despite the fact that they're fully homegrown and they go up against these international players, they go up against these teams that are in international competitions, sometimes you watch them and you say, the stuff they play is really, really eye-catching. And I think we'll see more of that this season. I'm happy to see them back in the PFL. They are a very positive team to watch. And yeah, for a neutral and maybe for a fan who doesn't have a team to follow coming into this PFL season, I would suggest maybe following Tuloy because they are a fun team to follow.
May pagka-underdog, di ba?
Yeah.
Because they're still a bit young. They're pretty much the age of college students, most of them. So I think that's one more reason why people want to get behind Tuloy FC if you are looking for that team to root
I think
for.
also just how they're set up. Again, I'm a big fan of how teams are set up. And Tuloy,
They have their own field.
They have their own field. So that's another thing that I love about them is that they have their own field. They have their own program. And that they're trying to build their own community. So for those of you, we won't have enough time, but like Tuloy, you should research of how they are set up and how they're giving back to the community in itself and how they're giving these young boys and these young girls this chance in life through sports, through education, and especially through sports, giving them, I guess, opportunities that they never would have had if they stayed out in the streets, if they were anywhere else. And so I honestly love what they're doing. They also have that bit of Japanese influence to their system. And as I said, they will always be a fan favorite because of what they stand for beyond the game.
Default underdogs. For me, everybody's default underdog should be Tuloy.
And
Yep.
Pinoys love to get behind their underdogs,
Exactly.
right? That's why. But we'll wrap it up. Last but not the least, there's DB Garelli United, the returning team when they took part during the PFL, that 2024 transition season, right?
Yeah.
They finished in that bottom 5, but there was some progress, and I see they still somewhat hold on to that core, even until now when they played in the amateur leagues outside.
You know what I love about this is Garelli is like a wild card, right? They came in with certain visions of grandeur that we could come here, we can compete, right? And they were shown a level that was a little bit beyond what they were capable of in their first foray into the PFL, right? It was a real wake-up call for them. But to come back after getting, you know, a spanking, so to speak,
Learning experiences.
and you've come back
Yeah.
with a resolve to compete again, that means you must have taken those lessons. You must have had conversations within your management and thought, you know what, we could take another crack at this, and we're not going to humiliate ourselves, right? So they're not coming into this blind anymore. They're coming in with a real sense of what it takes to compete in the PFL. And if the preseason results are any indication, it's quite interesting to see that they have actually become a lot more competitive, right? So I think they might have some new ingredients that they are going to put in the mix that will allow them to be a surprise package this season, you know? So it's cool, man. Like to see the league come together with this lineup, 11 teams, and you look at that lineup, and even, you know, the teams that you would dismiss normally as sure results for the opposite team, you cannot do that so quickly this time around, right? So I think Garelli's going to be quite interesting.
You know, they added, I think, some homegrown players just to add to that core that we did get to see
Yeah.
last time. So wala na magagalit because we ran through all the PFL teams that to compete, right? We're gonna read the comments also from our viewers, of course. It's good to see everybody out here in the comment section again. I did see Carson Gutierrez comment earlier in the start. If you guys see any comments, of course, just read. One of the guys saying champions of the Philippines here. What else? I mean, if you guys see something, go ahead and share it. Just, you know, keep that filter on for yourselves and for the show.
I'm not seeing too many questions, but it's nice to see that people are actually tuned
Yeah.
into this. We're 3 days away from the start of the season, and you know that there's always this excitement that's waiting for the PFL. And I really just hope that we have that stability and that access. And I think these shows like these are great, that we get an opportunity to speak about the games, and hopefully, you know, new fans can come in and get to know more about the PFL and plug in to the ecosystem seamlessly, you know. So hopefully this season is something that we can have a lot to talk about.
And of course, we have to shout out, of course, to Upstream.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like they're the ones who put all of this together. So they'll be the ones who will be live streaming the games.
Yeah.
And so for them to take that initiative, to take that step, that beyond the game, what else can we do to make sure that the men's league will be talked about, that there is hype around it, and that you're building that community just beyond the games. Because after the game, you know, especially when it's a win, it's a loss, you're always like, I'm not gonna say more, but like, you still have a lot of feelings, and you want to put it somewhere, and you know that's why you have this show.
Yeah.
The show, of course.
Just want to make a shout out to Eat, Sleep, Breathe Football, who's watching this stream, one of the stalwarts in the Philippine football media. And then, yeah, actually, a lot of people asking for the venues of the PFL. And what I can say is that a lot of the games, most of the games will be held right here in the Rizal Memorial Stadium, which is good for those who are near the area. Come down every Saturday or Sunday, which are when the games will be held, and watch in Rizal Memorial Stadium.
All right, there you go. I was supposed to make one more side comment, but it's a side comment for a reason. Yeah. Oh, PFL did post that, to be precise, that the games will be on YouTube. So that will be a return also.
Facebook as well, I think.
Yeah. But I'd like to think when they posted on Facebook, they did say it will be broadcasted on YouTube.
Great.
But that comment section's gonna be intense, you know?
No, but it's great.
But that's
the
what you
party.
look forward to.
That's the weekend party. I'm saying it because I joined also. Yeah, that's why I made some friends also. But let's carry on. Let's talk about the competition format for
Ito na.
season 2025-2026. It is a very interesting one. Rounds 1 and 2, we have the round robin format. So teams will get to play each other once in round 1 and then once in round 2. So each team will get to play.
10
Each
games
team will have to play 10 games
per
right?
round.
Per round.
Per round, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
with the double round robin. So after that, round 1, or how does this go? Round 1, okay. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that. So round 1, or it's a double round robin pretty much. Everybody gets to play each other twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Excuse me for that. And we have something interesting actually. After the double round robin, people are going now, oh, is it a final series? What's it gonna be now? To determine the end. Surprise na lang. We won't tell you. No, it's right here behind me. That's why I'm messing with you. It is right behind me.
Yeah.
Sorry, medyo. There you go. It's gonna be breakout pretty much, as some call it. So, the name of the game now, finish in the top 6, and then you will be included in the championship group. So there, teams 1 through 6 will play another single round robin. Whoever finishes the highest points tally will be the champion. Okay, but you will not have to face the lower ranked teams anymore. Classification group, that's teams ranked 7 to 11. You still get that involvement of sorts. You also get to play amongst yourselves. That will be a single round robin. But regardless of your finish, if somehow your 7th place and your points tally your points tally exceeds that of the lower rank of the number 6 team, I'd like to think you're still stuck in 7th. It's pretty much how they do it in the K-League. New format to us, Jing, but not to the football world. What's your initial take?
First thing that I'm excited about is the 20 games that all the teams are going to play, right? So you get 20 games. That's guaranteed when you play everybody, right? You get an additional number of games depending on where you finish, right? So if you're in the top 6, then you have an additional 5 games to play. And then if you're in the 7th to 11th, then you get an additional 3 or 4, right? Sorry, no, terrible with the math. But you get an additional number of games. So for me, moving into the 3rd round is exciting because you have games against teams that you're going to be very competitive with. I mean, for both sets, actually, right? These are the games that are going to be closer, right? So I'm excited to see more games. That's basically it, right? So regardless of the format right now, what I'd like to see, hopefully, is that this is going to be a format we stick with for a few more years, right? Because we've chopped and changed and moved around, and I just want to get us, set into the ground a little bit and something to build off of, right? So this seems like a good foundation to have. And again, I'm thinking in more of a 5-year course that you'd love to see that in 5 years' time to be one. Imagine if there's a new team every year, just one team. In 5 years' time, it would be a 16-team league. You'd have 15 games per round. Amazing, right? So I just would love to see, if this could keep going for a little while.
It will be good also, I'd like to think, for attracting new fans if we just stick with this format for a while, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's more easier to educate everybody.
Exactly.
Who's welcome to join us.
And I think it's going to be cool. I mean, the 3rd round is so far away, so it's difficult to really talk about it at this point in time. But the prospect of the top 6 teams going up against each other, that would mean every single game in that championship round is gonna be like amazing to watch.
Royal Rumble.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't wait for that. But let's get excited about round 1 first. Right? Round 1's just getting started. So for me, those first 2 rounds, 10 games per team, fantastic. That's what you want. Regular football, regular competition.
I can't wait for round 3 already, actually. I'm excited now. But we'll wrap things up, but we'll talk about what we are looking forward to for this upcoming season. So, to our viewers, who do you want, or your pick to make it to the championship group? Comment your answers, and we'll try to get through that. Ayun, let the games begin. It will be, name your top 6, pretty much. That's how we'll go through it. But with that, while people are putting down their predictions, Natasha, I'd like to think that championship round, that's going to be 5 games per team, but every game will be like a final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like really, as we said, I agree with Jing that the fact that that's the question that people are asking us, what's the format? You know, it says a lot about, I guess, how it's been changing over the years. So I hope that this is the year that we stick to this format, because it is exciting. I love the concept of the double round robin, a lot of games, and beyond that is the third round where you said that it's going to be extra competitive. I guess what's exciting is when you look at the teams again, you're like, damn, who's gonna, like, the competition is so tight that it's hard to even think of who your top 6 will be, because there's that many competitive teams coming into this season. And that's something that, as a fan of the game, that's exactly what you want. You don't want it to be one team that, you know, like Sarah's back then. It's like, come on. Like,
No,
it's
now
not
it's
that
Kaya,
fun.
just
Like,
right.
you want it to be competitive.
Yeah.
And it's exciting for the fans as well.
Yeah, just to add to that, just thinking about it, you know, the spots for 6th and 5th place going into, you know, the final week of round 2, for example, that's going to be very exciting. You know, like these teams in 7th and 8th and 9th, they're all going to be trying to push to get into that top 6. And I imagine there's going to be quite a race that will shape up once we get into that second round.
Actually, now that I think about it, there is this one additional thing that makes it more exciting, is that usually every season, since we don't have relegation, so we don't relegate the teams, the only thing we're excited about is who wins. But now, with this addition of the top 6, and of course, the teams that make it to AFC Champions League, with all that stuff, there is that mid-table battle that will make it extra more exciting, because you're extra invested now in what's happening in mid-table, not just at the top of the table.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
we see a lot of this in football, that when there's a team in mid-table and they're kind of too far from the title race, they lose their drive to compete for the season. But what this format actually means is that if you're a team sitting at 8th, 7th, mid-table, you still have something to fight for, which is that 6th spot. So there's going to be 2 races that we have to watch out for: the race at the top and the race to get into maybe the 6th spot, which is going to be quite tight, because you have a handful of teams who will probably be looking at that 6th spot.
Yeah, last time they added, there was that race for the title, and then there was the race of, who's going to finish 4th.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6. That time it was Davao, Cebu, and Stallion. They were just going for it. Just one ticket up for grabs, 3 teams. I think we are going to go through what's that?
Some of the comments, some of the
The comments also. Are we going through our predictions already?
I've seen some predictions here on.
Okay, do the honors, Jing.
Let me put out Eat, Sleep, Breathes. Number 1, Kaya. Number 2, Manila Digger. 3, Cebu. 4, Aguilas. 5, 1 Taguig. And 6, Tuloy.
Oh, there you go. Woohoo!
Throwing it out there.
Don't worry.
All right.
Well, we said earlier, right? Underdogs.
Yeah.
Everyone loves an underdog, especially Pinoys.
Love it, love it. So that's, I don't know if you guys are seeing any other ones, but it's good to see that people are actually throwing out some interesting ones. Salman seems to believe Stallion's going to be number 1.
He said champion Stallion, all
Champion.
caps.
Oh, champion daw. Bahala na yung mga iba. Basta champion yung Stallion.
You love that passion. Get behind your team, right? Win it.
Look at this. Digger number 2, Kaya 3rd for Salman. 4 Aguilas, 5 Cebu, 6 Maharlika. So, you know, already we're seeing like differences in you know, the predictions. It's nice to see.
Yeah, Aguilas to the moon. I believe this is Dak Cheng, sporting director of Aguilas-UMAK, of course, getting behind this team that he set up. All right, dahil full force of support ng ating viewers, we invite everyone to support and watch opening day. Opening day, that is on August 30th, the Rizal Memorial Stadium. That's pretty close already. Yeah.
3 days.
Saturday.
3 days.
Yeah. But yeah, still with that, we had the lineup of games that was announced already. So
Yeah.
I'm sure those teams are getting ready.
Top
for
2
that
teams
one.
are going to be involved, right?
Yeah.
So, Kaya versus Army and Mendiola versus Manila Digger.
Yeah, it's a double header to start things off, of course, an opening weekend. 4 p.m. for the curtain raiser, Kaya versus Army. I like to think there's a bit of a throwback, of course, because Kaya got to reach Army back in the day, in the UFL days too.
May flying kick nga na kasama. Sana walang ganun.
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah, those who can't make it to the stadium, don't you worry, we got you covered. Games will be streamed on the Philippines Football League YouTube channel. There you go. Confirmation, ding, ding, ding. And of course, watch the PFL, whether it be online or at the stadium, and support Philippine football. And of course, we're gonna talk about, we're all gonna share our expectations and stuff. Guests too, in particular. Expectations, Ching?
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be fun. If you're a football fan or trying to get into the world of football in the Philippines, this is a great place to get started. And there's gonna be so much local talent on tap, and the games are gonna be incredible. They're gonna be a lot more competitive this season. So I think if you're gonna or you're waiting for an opportunity to get involved in football, this is it.
There you go. Expectations, Natasha, this season? Yeah, with everything.
I guess like the same thing that Jing said was that if you're gonna pick a season to come back to all the old fans who've lost their way and want to get invested again, that this season is the season. Because again, one of the things is that of course that you can watch it on YouTube. So there's an easy platform for you to be able to watch the games. The first round, if I'm not mistaken, most of the games will be at Rizal. So you already know where that is. You can commute there, you can bring a car there, you can grab there, anything. It's easy, it's easily accessible. There's a lot of food vendors just right outside. And not just that, the quality of the games is gonna be much higher. As we said, it's gonna be competitive all throughout. It's gonna be hard to pick your top 5, top 6 even, because that's how competitive this season will be. And so we hope everyone to come continue to support men's football and women's football.
Of course, let's not forget. Out to you, Jago, your expectations?
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, this league. Again, as we mentioned, this league and this format especially is special because it's highly incentivized in the sense that the championship is not the only thing that teams are going to be aiming for in this format. So every game matters, basically. And every team has something to look forward to because, as I said, the format makes it possible to do that. So yeah, I think every game's gonna be exciting. Again, all the games are just gonna be in Rizal Memorial. If you're from Manila, it's close by, train station right behind it, in the center of the metro. And if you're not able to make it to the games, that's fine, but you can watch the games on YouTube. And on social media, you can follow the league. If you don't have time to watch the games, you can watch the highlights, which will also be on social media. And yeah, I'm just excited to have football back in the Philippines. It's been a while.
Yeah, so we were talking about it last time. There's 2 races, right, for the title, and then to make it to top, whether it be top 4, now it's top 6. There's that race also, guys.
Still another race.
Let's not finish
For the
last.
Shopee Cup, for the Champions League.
Oh, yeah.
So
That
you know,
also,
like there's
AFC.
also like additional incentives for you to continuously do well, because when you do well, you get to play international tournaments.
Yeah.
So
And-
that exposure is there as well. And then not just that, but your players get scouted. Your players get scouted, they get a better chance to play abroad as well, which is a good thing for the players.
That's probably something that's understated in the landscape of Philippine football, is how big of a platform it really is for players, right? Not just for Filipinos, but players from abroad. They have an opportunity to get on these platforms of the Shopee Cup and ACL2 and the Conference League, and to get themselves out there to big markets of football that the Philippines wants to be a part of. So yeah, it's great, you know.
All right, there you go. So pretty much, yeah, there's that extra race as always, which is what we always look forward to. So we will take the hotter seats. Seats are already hot, but let's take the hotter seats. Predictions for this season, I believe we were asked to name our top 6 or
We
who's
were?
gonna make it to the
Oh my
championship
God.
round.
Wait, I didn't get the memo.
Be informed, sit down.
I think this was
Okay, I can wing this. I can wing this. Okay.
this was
Go ahead.
predetermined for us, so we submitted our answers. We're ready to get cooked. No worry, Natasha, you can take your answers, come up with the best one.
Kayo muna.
Okay lang.
Kayo
Okay,
muna.
okay.
Ba yung sa akin?
Okay, I got mine.
I have a top
Look at the
6, but
teams.
not in particular order. Right? So I'm gonna go with Kaya, Manila Digger, Cebu. Gonna go with Aguilas, Taguig, and Stallion to finish in the top 6. I think Maharlika is gonna be 7th. They're just gonna be outside. So we will see.
Is that
There you
right
go.
over there?
Yeah. There you go. I had Stallion in 4th too. Look at that. Stallion, Taguig, and Aguilas. So yeah, that's a great mix of teams.
Was that left to right who goes 1 through 6?
Nah.
Or not really.
Let's
I'm
do
just
no
making
order,
sure.
huh? Let's do
Yeah.
no
I'm just
order.
making sure. Since you got to go first, I can kind of change that answer in my head. Okay, for mine, I kind of copied Jinx. No, we submitted like the Reg Glenn asked us. The Reg Glenn asked us to give it. Asked us personally, of course. I'm gonna go with Kaya, Digger, Gig, Cebu, Stallion, and Aguilas-UMAK for me. Those are my 6 teams in the championship round.
Yep.
Go figure.
Is that in order?
I leave that up to the viewers. Sila bahala sa comment section. Jago, do the honors. Are you ready to
Yeah.
get cooked?
Also not in order. But I have the same 6. I have Digger, Cebu, Kaya, Gig, Stallion, and UMAK Aguilas. So there's actually I think that was the order I submitted it in, but just the disclaimer is that that's not the order in predictions. But yeah, again, that's my top 6. And if that is the top 6, hypothetically, you would say that the championship round would be quite something, no? Yeah, so that's my top 6.
So pareho tayong tatlo. Ano ba yan?
Sabihin ko na.
I have a feeling my top 6 is kind of, it's also the same. I mean, it's Kaya, it's Stallion, Manila Digger, it's Aguilas, Cebu, and Gig.
Right.
But if we base it on what's out on what we have right now on paper, then I take out Gig and I put Maharlika based on what we have at the moment.
Right. Kasi wala.
Just because they haven't announced anything.
Kasi
Diba?
wala pang announcement.
Kasi pwede mag-announce na.
Guys, pwede naman
But
mag-
yeah, so
If you
para
could-
matweak lang.
If you could give us the information, of course, we could update this.
Right, right.
Sige, sabihin ko na. I gave mine in order, okay? So sometimes you gotta get mad at me. That's the problem when you're friends with everyone from all the teams. Anyway, okay, that ends our show for tonight. Don't forget to follow at WeArePFL on all of your socials, of course, so that you do not miss out on all of these things for Philippine football, left to right, here and there. Yeah, can't wait to see everybody this weekend, guys. So, yeah, I think goodbye for now, but just always see you later. See you guys.